Well, ladies and gentlemen, as I greet you on this Saturday morning, we've got Donald Trump at a new all time high coming off the RNC, coming off the crazy situation that happened at this point, crazy enough, a week ago. And now we've got Trump, just like I said, after the assassination attempt, Trump, you take a look at it happening on the 13th, that's a 10% increase. He was at 73% chance to win, and now he's at 83. And I do have to tell people the Democrats right now are kind of fighting with both hands tied behind their back, considering they are a split party. They are committed, it seems like, to getting Biden out of the race. Biden's committed to staying in the race. The pressure has been there. I think either way, it's a bad situation, but it's probably worse at this point if they keep Biden, because they've all come out and admitted that they don't think Biden has the ability and really cognitive function to run again. And you've got all these independent people coming out and saying, this is ridiculous. There's no way Biden can serve another 4 years. He shouldn't be serving right now. So why would anyone vote for him? There's going to be low voter turnout, you would expect, if Biden is the choice. And if they do switch to Harris, they'll at least be able to cope and have the idea that, oh, we'll be able to get Shapiro, we'll be able to get Moore, we'll be able to get Whitmer, one of these, governors from a very important state, probably the Rust Belt, because that's their golden ticket right now. The Democrats, they need all of the Rust Belt states. And you look at something like this right now, it's very important to look at the Rust Belt states. Pennsylvania, Donald Trump at an 81% chance, Michigan's at 72, Wisconsin's at 76. I think that's a pretty good estimate right now. Michigan's going to be the hardest to win. If they do go with Whitmer for VP, I think they're going to lose with a dual woman ticket, but they'll probably, they might, Michigan might go to like 50-50 if Whitmer is the choice for VP. Not that it matters all that much. I highly doubt they would win Pennsylvania or Wisconsin. Taking a look at some of the other states that people tend to talk about, New Jersey, Biden right now at an 83% chance. That'll be an interesting state to watch. Minnesota is a pure toss-up at this point. Virginia, they've got Biden at a 62% chance. I know he went ahead in the Real Clear Politics polling average, but I will say there is a very limited amount of polls in that average. You do also have Nebraska second. That's only one electoral vote, but that's basically a toss-up. Maine at large is a toss-up as well. You do have Arizona, Trump with an 83% chance to win. Nevada, 75% chance to win. These are crazy historic numbers that no Republican candidate has put up since at least 2004, probably prior to that. Now obviously this is a different graph. We didn't have these type of things in 2004 or 2008, but obviously in Trump's 3 times running, this is just a completely different feel now, even with Biden as the incumbent, based on how badly he's performed. This graph does have both Virginia and Minnesota now as pure toss-ups. Remember the timeline where 3 months ago we were talking about, well, maybe Trump's next states, if he's performing this well, are Minnesota and Virginia. Yeah, Biden's leading them. We think Biden's going to win. Well, now they've both turned white on this map, meaning they are right now 2 pure toss-ups. Also, New Hampshire, with its 4 electoral votes, they've actually got Trump as a slight favorite at a 53% chance. So this is crazy. This is going to be probably, or at least right now, again, they are fighting with 2 hands tied behind their back. They will inevitably at some point get behind a candidate. If it does have to be Biden, and like Biden says, no, I'm not leaving, stop it, and he somehow is able to fend all of this off, you will immediately see, or I don't know about immediately, but you will see statements from Obama, from Pelosi, from Schumer saying Biden's our guy, he's showing fight, he looks good, he recovered from COVID. That'll be a whole narrative with them. So they will get behind him and they will do the full funding campaign. Of course, he's the incumbent. They're going to try and win this. But it's a situation where, based on all of this polling, it seems so unlikely. Ohio now is in the pure safe category, 99% chance to win. That's crazy. Imagine saying that in 2016. You do have Florida. They've got it at 97. I think you could put Florida at around a 99. You could put Texas at around a 99 as well. And North Carolina, they've got an 87% chance to win there. That could be affected if Kamala gets in and then chooses a VP from there. But Georgia's another one. Trump with an 83% chance to win. And then Trump would be done. He'd get over 270 with Pennsylvania. So right now, based on this map, this is Trump at his peak right now. He could get to 270 based on this analytical model. he gets to 270 with states that he's got at least an 81% chance to win. That's what this means, because he's at 81% chance. That gets him over, and then Wisconsin would be the next one at a 76% chance, and you can just see the crazy, crazy situation there. The electoral votes, they've got Trump up to 321. That's a predictive model at 321. That's not me or other Trump supporters when we do these predictions, and I would have Trump at like 342. I'm being honest. That's just what the polling says, and what you take into account Biden's approval rating. But even to see a model where we had Trump at 312 2 or 3 months ago, and that was bullish, and now models have Trump at 321. That's how crazy it's getting. Again, once the Democrats go full force behind a candidate, they're probably going to improve. It's very nice for Trump. He's enjoying this. He's coming up. Well, obviously, he wasn't enjoying what happened last Saturday, but surviving that and just the iconic photo and how crazy and demented these people are, the liberals that is, where they just can't accept reality and they're trying to cope, and a lot of them don't know how to handle their emotions, so they're lashing out and they're saying a lot of stupid things. And speaking of that, we've got Keith Olbermann coming out. So this was 2 days ago. Why is Trump lying about the assassination attempt? 5 days later, there's no confirmation, not even an anonymous statement from a law enforcement or a medical authority that he was hit by a bullet. His former White House doctor confirmed that he was struck by a bullet. These people, they call us conspiracy theorists. They gaslight us. Keith Olbermann Keith Olbermann obviously is the most extreme. Him and Joy Reid, they're the most extreme form of the Trump derangement syndrome, but with them, it's so crazy. It's like, to me, this is actually like a tamed down tweet from Keith Olbermann. When I read something like this, where Keith Olbermann is like, why is Trump lying about the assassination attempt? I'm a little bit surprised. I was expecting something more crazy than this from Keith. So you let me down, Keith. Give me something good. Give call Trump Hitler, do something. Oh, here it is. President Trump was shot in the ear. They had to correct it. Oh. We've got other stuff. Bill Maher had, maybe it was his first show after the Trump, or maybe a second show after the Trump assassination attempt, but Pete Buttigieg went on, and Pete Buttigieg has kind of been rumored maybe a little bit for the VP spot with Kamala. I think it'd be a terrible choice. Those two would not work out well together. I highly doubt he's going to be picked, and I haven't heard much from it, but he went on Bill Maher, and Bill Maher even comes out and says, should Joe Biden have fired the Secret Service head? I've seen people fired for less, and it just looks bad. Biden is in such a weird position because they hate Trump so much, and the Secret Service, look, there's so many reports. Now there's reports coming out that there weren't even Secret Service people there, or they were under. There weren't enough. It's such a debacle, but Biden hates Trump and that party hates Trump. So if he fires the head, it's like bending the knee to Trump, when the entire thing is just so absurd to allow someone. I can't get that shot out of my head where it's Trump speaking, and then off to his left, you can see the roof of the building. How is that? I mean, it doesn't make any sense how something like that would not be secured. Buttigieg saying everything that led up to that moment, that horrible moment, is under a microscope, and I believe that Biden and the administration will do the right thing. But you don't need a microscope to see that. The guy was on the roof, not that far away, with a rifle for a long time. So Buttigieg trying to simp for Biden, trying to defend Biden there. It's not surprising. Trump's campaign is now expanding their electoral map to Minnesota, Virginia, New Jersey, and New Mexico. Well, I think it was already reported that he was looking at Minnesota and Virginia, and his campaign called both of those states toss-ups. But now it's going so far, possibly with New Jersey. So Trump going for the ultimate death blow, the ultimate blowout to Biden. If he somehow gets New Jersey, man, they have Illinois with an 81% chance to win for Biden, based off of what, listen, I don't buy that. They've actually got Illinois with a better chance for Trump to win than New Jersey. Yeah, I don't think so about that one. But New Jersey, there's been polls that have come out, not recently, but I'd like to see one post the assassination attempt. It was saying, there were polls that had Trump up by 1. That was an internal poll. The actual official polls on Real Clear Politics had it close. It was Biden +4, +5. In a few different ones. Illinois, there's been no polling. I don't think Trump's going to win Illinois. And then what is this? This is Colorado. Maybe they'll expand their map to Colorado. What is Oregon? 94. Washington's 97. Obviously, California, it's not going to happen. But those are interesting states right there. And we'll see. New Jersey would just be, if he won New Jersey, based on the prediction right now, New Jersey, maybe also New Mexico. I think he'd probably be at like 345, 350, maybe even higher. I know people ask, can he get to 400 based on how partisan everything is? I mean, if I did a prediction today, I don't want to say this is Trump's absolute peak, but based on the news, like this is as good as it can be right now for Trump because you have, all the top Democrats, Obama, even he abandoning Biden, but Biden saying, I'm going to stay in. So it's like the pure definition of butting heads, and a lot of Democrats just feel it's terrible. They don't know who to vote for. Independents don't either. And so this is a really, really good situation, which I'm sure they're going to come out and they're going to say, well, once they pick a candidate, whether it is Biden, I think they have to move on from Biden. Listen, it was reported Biden might drop out this weekend. I know there's the whole thing where he came out and said, no, I'm running. His campaign did. But I mean, this is Joy Reid, white adjacent black men. So it's gotten so bad for Joy Reid. There's been reports 40% of black men are supporting Trump. And now she has to say, well, they're white adjacent. They love white people. That's why they do it. Oh, this was a funny debate moment. By the way, something I noticed, doesn't Biden, even just in this thing that I just paused on, he looks so much better in this, does he not? Like, I don't know how he aged so much in 5 years, but it's crazy. This is huge stuff right here from Trump with Zelensky, and Trump's just already acting like the president. President Zelensky of Ukraine and I had a very good phone call earlier today. He congratulated me on a very successful Republican National Convention and becoming the nominee. He condemned the heinous assassination attempt last Saturday. And then he also talked, possibly they're talking about some type of peace deal between Russia and Ukraine. It was already reported that both Zelensky and Putin wanted to move to a peace deal. I talked about on my live stream last night, the issue with the peace deal is the amount that Russia has invested into this war. Right now, they only control those two eastern regions in Ukraine. The problem becomes if Trump tries to be the middleman and negotiate this, is Putin going to be happy with only controlling that amount of land? Obviously, Ukraine is not operating from much strength considering the United States is their gravy train. That's how they get most of their money. So if you're Trump, you want to keep leverage here. You don't want to show your hand and say, oh, I'm going to stop funding Ukraine no matter what, because you want the best deal possible for the United States in terms of Ukraine and Russia. We don't want to give Russia all this land. Absolutely not. So right now, Russia only having those two territories, certainly something can be worked out for those territories. People will say, and liberals would say, no, you're appeasing Putin. No, this is just how it is. And unless you want a 10-year war or Russia really going harder and really boostering up to where now there's pure NATO involvement with Russia and it gets escalated higher, based on the amount of resources Russia has invested into this war, the amount of men and manpower that they've lost, they're not going to tuck their tail and go back to Russia and say, we're sorry, guys. That's just not happening. This is the reality of the situation and the strategy behind what Russia is trying to do. People ask me, well, are they trying to reform the Soviet Union? Well, listen, this is human nature. They lost a lot of land in 1991. So, I mean, I don't know exactly what they're trying to do, but obviously they're trying to get some land back. I mean, that just is what it is. So, I don't know what the exact negotiations will be because I don't know what Putin wants. I think Zelensky would be fine agreeing to them taking those Russian-speaking districts. That would be honestly a big win for him to, stop that attack there with the help of NATO, of course. But he would be fine with that. The question is, would Putin be fine with just those two territories, or would Putin say, no, I'll do a peace deal. I want more land, and that would be part of the peace deal, us getting more land into Ukraine. And then the question is, and this is why it's so unstable right now, well, if you split Ukraine in half or you give Russia a bigger chunk, even if you don't, the tensions are just going to be so high with Russia and Ukraine. There needs to be some type of leverage play by Trump for Russia to sign some sort of deal or do some sort of thing to try and work that out and de-escalate the situation. That's what you want to do. We just don't know what Putin really wants right now. So when it comes to that, that's my opinion on the Putin, Zelensky, Trump thing. Zelensky having good dialogue. Remember liberals saying that, oh, Trump's going to throw Ukraine away. No, Trump's an America first guy. Russia taking all this land is not good for America. So, we want Ukraine and Ukraine, they fought, they've weakened Russia a bit. And certainly, unlike most Republicans, when this happened, I was originally for the funding because I'm an America first person. When I see a proxy war where we can just fund like 2% of our military budget and weaken Russia without losing any manpower and no American blood is shed, that's actually a smart military strategy. I agreed with the liberals, but now it's got to the point where we're just throwing money away and it's a complete stalemate. So let's solve this thing before it gets escalated further. So like the past 2 money trains to Ukraine, I've been against, but originally, yes, that's actually smart. You're weakening a foreign adversary through a proxy situation. There is a potential for that to backfire because obviously Russia is going to blame the United States the most for NATO and the funding apparatus, so that could be a problem. The good news is we've got Europe separating the United States along with the Atlantic Ocean. That's a thing where it's like, why do we care so much about Russia? Look at where we're at. I mean, we're in such an amazing spot, guys. I don't think people realize Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Canada. Maybe Canada gets a little bit better in terms of their military, but we can just bitch around Canada, just because they're not strong enough. Mexico, the only problem is Mexico. If we had a better country to the south of us, or listen, all we had to do was fortify our border. Very clean thing. We're a first world country. Let's do that. We've been unable to do that. It is crazy. There should have been a massive $50 billion investment into a huge 40-foot tall border wall that looked amazing. Trump only got $15 billion into the wall. People said that was too much. No, you have to fix it. It's not just going to cost a little money. You're going to have to pay a lot of money to fix the border wall. Let's just do it once and for all. Get it done. Take it out of the military budget. It's big enough. I mean, we have sent, it's like $72 billion in aid to Ukraine. So you'd think we'd be able to spend something like that on the wall. But so all of this is interesting. The good news is, even if there are tensions with the United States and Russia because of NATO, Trump does have a very good relationship with Russia, or at least a significantly better one than liberals do. The problem, if the liberal regime stays in, and I say that because it's impossible to say who's going to be their candidate, it could be not either Kamala or Biden. You've got AOC reporting saying most of the strategists don't want either of them, and it makes total sense. They're both very unlikable. They want to just destroy that ticket of Harris and Biden and go with someone else entirely. But the problem is, if the liberals stay in, there's going to be the same rhetoric. We're going to be throwing, they'll be doing funding packages depending on who wins the Senate and the House. But I would imagine if liberals win, the presidency, they'll win the House. They're probably not going to win the Senate. The Republicans have like an 80% chance right now. But the problem is, it's going to be the same rhetoric where it's this thing with Russia, Ukraine. It's a stalemate. The United States continues to send. And with these wartime situations, I think we've realized that we can sit here and we can say nothing's happening. It's perfectly fine. And yes, and the slogan that I always use when it comes to war, especially in the 21st century, nothing happens until it does. It's like Russia had all those troops around Ukraine and we're like, whatever. There's been no invasions. Nobody would invade. Look at all the nuclear missiles that we have. It would be so unstable. Nobody would try that. Nothing happens until it does. It's not like, when there's a situation with China and Taiwan, the day before it happens, we're not going to say, oh my God, tomorrow I think China's going to invade Taiwan. It just happens. So that's just what war is. So this whole idea where Russia's just going to have those 2 districts, and even if we have liberals in office and they keep funding Ukraine, Russia's not going to ratchet it up. I think that's very faulty thinking. It's impossible to say what they're going to do. That's why we'd like to end it and possibly mend our relationship with Russia, and really, because it seems like Russia is ready to play ball with Trump. Obviously, they don't like, they do not like the Democrats and Biden. And I understand people say, well, that's good. Russia's an adversary. Well, there's a few different things about that. Number one, and this is a whole nother video, but Russia is not even close to as powerful as China. Somebody asked me in the live stream last night, I thought they were joking. We have to get every American to understand, and you can call it a China ghost. You can call it, well, China hasn't invaded anyone. But no, China is not 100 times, but China is significantly more powerful than Russia, even with the recent deflation that they've had as an economy. So they're 2 different beasts. And if we can at least mend relationship with Russia, it's never going to be a great relationship. Look at what we have done with NATO. Well, I've said NATO's an issue, and that's why all the European countries are pissed off that Trump's coming back in. They know they're going to be forced to pay when it comes to NATO. And it might even be worse now. Trump originally, he never really wanted to leave NATO. He just wanted to force all the countries to commit 2% to the military budget of their GDP. But I think it might even be more of a pressure from Trump. And I have talked about doing a NATO tax where we force countries to pay us money for us to even be in the agreement, which I believe is illegal. But with the military that we have, that's more of a peaceful thing because we make up so much of it. We can squeeze these countries. It's not extortion. It's just leveling the playing field when you're 70% of the budget for NATO. It's crazy. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.